Hey guys, so I am starting the cooking with Cozies. So remember, this is a judgy-free zone because one, I am not a professional cook. Two, I've never done this before, so if my angles are weird, yeah, I'm a bakist, totally a bakist. But if my angles are weird, or if I'm doing something that's not right, or you're like, hey, you should have done this way or whatever, then, you know, it's my first time doing this. And I'm not normally the one who does desserts in the family. Erin is the one who does desserts in the family. But today's episode of the Cooking with Cozies is featuring Ellie Alexander's Meet Your Baker from the Bake Shop Mystery Series. And the recipe that I am going to be trying to recreate is the raspberry Danish. So I'm gonna show you what the ingredients are, and then I'm going to get started. And I might do a voiceover. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to film this, if I'm being perfectly honest. So yeah, let's get to baking. All right, so this is Meet Your Baker, and these are the ingredients, and I've marked it down. We are doing the raspberry Danish. So 2 packages of yeast, half a cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 cups of flour, and half a cup of sugar, as well as 1 jar of raspberry jam. And I got Smucker's because it didn't tell me a specific one to get. So I'm hoping that, I wasn't quite sure when it came to the yeast. I got 2 whole packs of this, but I'm pretty sure I only need to use 2 of these for this recipe. I'm hoping so because I'm not quite sure. So we are just gonna get started. Alright, so I am going through the recipe for the raspberry Danish, and some things were a little bit difficult for me to understand, like there's a part about salt. Had no idea that I needed to add it into the dough, but I'm putting warm water in because it told me to do that with 2 packages of yeast. And so I'm going to put that in, and then the yeast is going to have to sit for about 10 minutes, I believe is what the recipe called for. So I'm putting that all in and mixing it all together with the warm water to set aside. And I'm reading it again and again. Like, you'll see me do this multiple times throughout because I really need to make sure that I've done it. So I'm going to set it aside for 10 minutes and covered. Then I'm going to get started on, I'm going to move you over here to the stove. We're going to get started on the milk. I believe it was a 1/4 cup of milk or 2 cups of milk and 4 teaspoons of, or tablespoons, I don't know, of butter. So I'm doing that right now, mixing that all together. I actually had to go and buy milk because Erin and I don't drink a lot of milk at home. So I'm putting that in, and then I'm cutting up the butter into sizable chunks, like, you know, make it easier to sort of melt together. So I'm doing that, and I'm letting it all melt together as the time goes by, stirring and whisking it up as well. This is just some stuff that I've learned from watching like the Great British Baking Show and different cooking shows. So it didn't actually say necessarily to cut up the butter, but I decided I was going to do that. And then I decided that I was going to look into starting the sifting of the sugar as well as the flour. I actually bought extra sugar and extra flour, and then I didn't realize that Erin had already bought that. Most of his baking stuff is actually his because he is the bakest in the family. It's really Baker, but we say bakest because they make fun of me because I accidentally said that in one video. So now I'm sifting it all together. This was actually a lot of fun. I felt like super cool and awesome and fantastic. Like, I felt like I was a real baker. I believe it was 4 cups of flour and 2 cups of sugar, I think. and then I'm whisking, or you know, putting all that together. I realized that I did the sugar all by itself first, so then I redid all of it, making sure that all of it was really, really melded together and sifted so that it was all nice and incorporated with each other, which is good. I went over to the oven to make sure that I needed to turn that down and get it off of the heat. This is where I realized that I accidentally bought the fast tracking yeast. I was not supposed to put it in water because I didn't buy regular yeast. So I was technically supposed to, I just put that in there because it said, hey, just do what you would normally do. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm adding all the hot stuff in together and whisking it. Should have added salt in this part. Oh, you know, brand new shirt, but you know what, who cares? We get dirty for this show. Realized that my hands are now burning because there is hot milk and butter. But you know what? The things I do for the channel. I realize it's all burning and everything, but you know, I'm getting it together. It actually was a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, I had an absolute blast doing this whole entire video. It told me to keep putting it together and incorporating it together until it was no longer sticking. So now that needed to rest for about 15 minutes, and I decided that I was going to butter the pans, and now I'm splitting the two things in half, and I'm sort of pushing it all around in the cake pans. Fun fact, didn't own these before, but now I do, and it's really, really fun. I needed to pack those down into both of the pans, and it was, you know, nice and easy to do. Then I needed to take a fork and put it, like, mark all of the fork inside the pie. Words are hard, Courtney, goodness gracious. And I needed to let that rise for another 15 minutes, and while that was rising, I decided I was going to make the delicious icing. And you see my sister's little Christmas toes over there in the upper part. So I didn't realize how amazing and how easy it is to make icing. So, or the frosting. So it's like 1 stick of butter, 2 cups of the powdered sugar, the vanilla extract that Aaron and I got when we were in Mexico, and I think milk, like a 1/4 cup of milk, I'm pretty sure. But you just do that, and then you whisk everything together, and it was super tasty. Not gonna lie, I might have licked the spoon quite a bit, and there's still some in my fridge. Yeah, it's amazing. Really, really good vanilla from, I believe we got it at Cozies. So I'm whisking all of that together and getting it all incorporated and all of that fun stuff. I really, really realized how much I like making things with my hands, and it's so much more fun doing it for you guys and actually creating something that's inside of our Cozies. Like, how cool is that to be able to actually take one of Ellie Alexander's or Jewel Capshaw's recipes and bringing it to real life. So I'm really trying to incorporate it all together. I realized later that I need a whisk, so I ended up getting a whisk. But I absolutely love all of the hands-on-ness of everything. That was me going and giving Aaron the spoon to lick because he didn't believe me that it actually tasted good. Or I think he did believe me that it tasted good, but he was just like, I kind of want that. So now, fun fact, I go and put these in the oven when not supposed to. I was supposed to put the jam in it, so you're not going to see me do that. But then I stopped it halfway through and put the jam, and then there's the raspberry jam, and then I am just drizzling the icing all over it. Guys, it smelled so good. Yep, totally licking all of the, like, it was super, super, super tasty, not gonna lie. And there is the finished product. I feel like the bread could have been less doughy, but it was absolutely delicious, and I loved it. So let me know what you think. Do you think I did good? Do you think I did not good? But Courtney's gonna end this video right about now. Alright guys, so I finished filming my very first Cooking with Cozies with Ellie Alexander's Bake Shop Mystery Series. I ended up making the Raspberry Danish. Couple of thoughts throughout making it. I didn't see where I was supposed to use the salt, and some of the things were a little vague, and so I just like assumed how to do it. Not quite sure, but hopefully it turns out just as tasty as I imagine it in the books and in the series. So please give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive in and see how tasty it is. All right, so here it is on my plate. I'm going to go through, get some of the icing. Oh my God.
Is it good? Turned out better than you thought it was gonna?
Mm-hmm. Guys, I didn't mess it up. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I'm like putting on that royal icing.
You know, sharing is caring.
Hey guys.
She eating a whole one by herself.
No, I'm not eating a whole one by myself.
It's kind of like it.
I guess I'm gonna share with my sister and Aaron.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But before I give them any, that's the end of this chapter of Courtagonist. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, let me know if there are any recipes down below that you would like me to recreate from a cozy. I would really, really like to do this again. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I finally did it. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy reading. Bye.